Hello, welcome to the Ginger Geek Show. So, Avengers Endgame has been out for nearly a week now, and I thought it's time to really talk about spoilers of said movie. I've seen it 3 times, and the reason why I didn't want to do the spoiler review just so quickly is simply because of that. I wanted to see it a good couple of times and really kind of let it kind of process a little bit, because I admit myself, I've done kind of spoiler reviews before, and I feel like I missed things I didn't simply kind of see it rightly maybe, and I really just wanted to just really do a good proper spoiler review where I try my best not to miss everything that I love, frankly, about this movie, and the things that I didn't kind of like, which there's a couple of them, I'll tell you that now. But so yes, this is going to be my spoiler review, and generally how I normally do them is I kind of talk about the overall movie, and then my likes, dislikes, and then the heavy kind of spoilers. But no matter what, this is very much a spoiler review. You can go watch my normal movie review, which I don't think I spoiled anything in it. So you can watch that, that's there. But yes, talking about the movie. So this obviously takes place after Infinity War. Precisely, they say it's been 22 days precisely after that's happened. And it's all went to shit. Tony and Nebula are in space. Tony is about to look like he's died. And I'm just going to say right now, because I don't think barely anyone's talked about it, is just how amazing they made Robert Downey Jr. look so ill and thin and frail. Like, they did a damn good job with that, and obviously when you think like he's going to die, and I still remember my second viewing where I had a lassie not far from me, and she was constantly greeting at that bit, and I thought to myself, you've got no idea what's coming if you think this is bad here. Obviously, who appears but good old Captain Marvel. For some people might be actually quite confused by how she knew this, but actually it does connect to the after credit scene of Captain Marvel, where she goes to the Avengers facility and she's like saying, right, where's Nick Fury? And it turns out that Steve says, can you help us? We'll help you, sort of thing, work together, and that's how she goes to try and find Tony. A lot of people are kind of confused by that, because they kind of thought, and kind of including myself, kind of thought that they would include the Captain Marvel. That was a scene actually in Endgame. That didn't turn out the case, but yes, that kind of happens, and they obviously come back down to Earth, and then they feel like, right, you know what, that's just get Thanos, which I quite like, and it also shows that, right, if they actually did work as a team, they actually worked as more of a collective, they probably would have maybe near enough won it. You know, if you did have someone like Thor who was a bit of an egotistical, and he's like saying, no, I need to talk to him before doing anything, you know, stuff like that. If you maybe did that, it would have maybe worked. So they obviously go to the garden, or Titan 2, as some maybe kind of call it, because of Nebula knew of that said place. They go there, they get Thanos. Thanos reveals that he has destroyed the said stones, something that apart from them don't believe, but then Nebula's like, my fella doesn't lie, he's serious. And Thor obviously goes for the head. There goes the head, gone, that's it, Thanos is dead. And it's quite a shock, but at the same time it's not, because you know for yourself, you're kind of like, something's obviously going to happen, because Thanos is in the trailers, he's somewhere. So that's done. And it was also nice just to say right now that they did do a reference to Thanos farming. I really liked that. I thought that was a nice little nice reference to the comics there. And then we'll get a jump 5 years later with a nice little cameo from Jim Starlin, the creator of Thanos. I liked where a little meeting that Captain America does of people of after the survival of the snap. Also a nice little cameo from the director there as well, and that was nice. I like that kind of. There's a good chunk here, which I do like here, of just world building. I like we're seeing just the world going to shit, really, and then we get to San Francisco and we get more of this, where we see Ant-Man's coming back from the saviour, really, of the Endgame. The hero of them all is a rat that helps really save the day. That is the saviour. A rat. So yes, Ant-Man comes out and he walks about San Francisco, and it's San Francisco seemed to have got hit the hardest. That place does not. I don't understand why. Okay, I get it that half the universe is gone, but would people really just leave everywhere looking like a jungle? I was quite confused by some of that stuff, but that's the old dystopian stuff for you, I guess. There, but I loved all that, and then when he goes to a very kind of not very subtle, I think it's kind of obvious kind of reference to obviously. world wars that happened, or any kind of war really, of areas of deceased that's happened, and the Vanished, as it was called, they kind of called it, and all the names and all that, and Scott's looking for him, he sees his name and he's panicking and he's looking for Cassie. He goes back to his house, which I don't know why he just didn't do in the first place, but he goes to find Cassie, who's now a lot older now. Quite a jump older, I think, a little bit. She looks like she's like nearly hitting 18. I feel like, has it not been like 5 years? But I'm sure she was like a toddler or something like that. She was only like, I don't know, 6, I'm sure, and Ant-Man the Wasp, I'm not 100%, but he obviously sees that. Now there's a nice wee moment. Then we go back to the Avengers facility, and there's a nice little kind of bit which I quite liked, which reminded me actually a lot of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. I would remember when there was like holograms of different people were there at the battle. If that was a reference to Revenge of the Sith, I'd be amazed, but I really kind of like that. Captain Marvel's rocking a new hairdo, which again a nice reference to there. Rocket Nebula are working as well in space. Okaya is hinting of possibly Namor. A lot of people are saying it. Of earthquakes that's happening under oceans and all that. Possibly, who knows? There is a whole universal rights thing about that. Simply that they can't do solo movies, but they can have Namor apparently in team up movies. So who knows there? And then obviously Rhodes has got more information to give Black Widow, simply saying that there's been quite a massacre that's happened in Mexico, and Black Widow kind of saying, "Oh, just rival gangs." But then she's like, Rhodey's like, "No, this is Barton. It doesn't look good whatsoever." So there's a little Cap and Natasha has a nice little conversation. Cap saying that she looks miserable and his cooking isn't going to help the matters there. But then suddenly interrupted by Ant-Man. He's on the buzzer, and then he comes in panicking and talking about like 5 years ago that he went through the quantum realm, but for him it was like 5 hours. And then signifying that they could maybe use this as a time machine, something that's deemed as a joke, but it literally is just a time machine that they can use. So they figure out how could they do that. Obviously thinking that they need basically a big brain to do such thing, and then that's when they kind of decide that yes, let's go to Tony Stark now with a kid that he has, and I like the little relationship with the kid and Tony. I think that's really quite good, and the way like Tony reacts and acts with the kid is what you kind of feel like Tony would be like. You know, go to sleep, I'll sell all your toys and all that, and when you watch it. And this is why you need to watch it, I think, more than once, because I got more from it, is when he simply the kid says, "I love you 3000," and it's like, oh god, that really hit me the third time. When I saw it the third time, I don't know why that really hit me that time, because obviously I know the connection of what's going to be happening there. So I always had a nice scene that's kind of like there and all that, and obviously Cap, Black Widow and Ant-Man comes to talk to him, tell him about this whole time travel thing. Tony dismisses it, thinks it's ridiculous and doesn't want anything to do with it. So they go, what about another big brain? To the moment which I really enjoyed of Professor Hulk. That was, I think, was a nice reference again to the comics of something that to me it's also quite nice that there has been a nice arc for the Hulk for once for me finally in these kind of movies where you've seen the Hulk struggle, you've seen Banner struggle, and now you're seeing him going, and this is what he said, he put the brawn and the brain together and then they got this, and my god, the technology looks amazing of how they've just overdone it. It really is quite just quite something how they've managed to pull off something so uncannily realistic. It was weird, and I love the kids that came along and they wanted a photo, and again this is why I love Marvel, because Marvel feels real to me. I feel like that's what would happen in this world. They would want to take photos with the superheroes, and I love that the Hulk is dabbing because Banner is just not cool whatsoever, so you would do stuff like this. It is embarrassing to watch, and Paul Rudd is brilliant, and like he's like, do you want a picture of Ant-Man? It's like, they don't know who Ant-Man is. Just take the goddamn phone. That scene was really quite perfect for me. I really quite enjoyed that. And then obviously we have more of Tony Stark, and he realizes that time travel is possible, and he actually figured it out, and he goes back to the Avengers and gives Cap his shield, which was a nice moment, and also nice to actually hear Cap's theme, which thankfully is one of those themes that's actually managed to kind of trickle through the MCU. There's some themes that kind of disappeared. Iron Man's theme is, I think Iron Man's theme's had about 4 different themes now. I'm quite lost now with his kind of theme, whatever the hell it is, but Cap's like just that solo like trumpet noise that I love it. It's Alan Silvestri did it because obviously he did do the Captain America theme way back in the first Avengers. So I really love that theme. I think it's a great moment when he gets that shield and you can see like Cap's just like he's running all the motions really. So Tony's discovered that he has discovered a way to use time travel with a little device that he has, which no doubt will be another toy. So like you get him involved, and then we get cut to them more like working together and all that kind of stuff, and then we get that a really nice scene, which I love that this is almost like a love story between the Hulk and Rocket, where we have a man sitting outside. Then the Benatar appears, and then he was eating something, and then it blows away. Then the Hulk appears and gives him his food, which I thought was a sweet moment. And then there's a nice song that appears with Rocket and the Hulk flying together. Then they sit together, going to New Asgard, not Scotland whatsoever, which again was nice to see. And then they go and then see Valkyrie. She's there in this the New Asgard, which was nice. Again, another great like reference that they did it. Also was nice was the fact that it's the same place, New Asgard, where this place is where you had Captain America the First Avenger, was where the Tesseract was in the opening. So that was a nice little kind of like reference you had there. So Hulk and Rocket go to obviously New Asgard to try and get Thor. They talk to Valkyrie and says like he only comes here for the drink and that's it. So Thor joins Rocket and the Hulk, while Black Widow goes to Tokyo to get Hawkeye, who now is Ronin. Now this is a thing I'm not happy about, if I'm honest. What was the point almost? Like they did the whole Ronin stuff and then it was so swiped away and I was like, is that it? Like, because I was so excited to see Ronin. If I'm honest, they could have easily done that as a movie. Like, just that idea alone. Hawkeye, much darker, now the Ronin just going after Yakuza in Tokyo. Sign me up, that sounds amazing to me because I did enjoy the Wolverine movie when that was basically that, and that was the stuff that I enjoyed. But yes, we'll have that with a really great like one take shot, or supposedly look like one take shot. I really enjoyed that little fight scene that there was, and Black Widow comes to get Ronin to obviously to join and help to try and bring back his family, and by holding hands suddenly he's fine almost. Well, apart from he has a smashing cool sleeve tattoo because Now Hawkeye's cool. He's got a cool haircut and a sleeve tattoo because he's so hard and cool. So all the Avengers are basically back together, and after Hawkeye does a quick little test run using the quantum to see if it works, everything was basically a-okay. And then they kind of discover, they talk about how they're actually going to get the stones, and then they realise that 3 of them are in New York at one time, 2 of them are kind of close to each other, and 1 also was somewhere. That was also another one. So it was a nice little scene, see them together and actually kind of, for once, almost like working together as well. And then we also get a really cool scene. I really like the suits. I actually thought the suits looked pretty neat. And then they use the quantum machine for their time heist, as Paul Rudd says, and they go off to their separate bits to obviously get said stones. And it was so, I was so excited actually when it came up and it was like New York 2012 and they're at the Battle of New York. And I'm not going to go into depth about this bit because there's so much to talk about, but I'm just going to quickly say some things because there's so much here. The cameos alone, Tilda Swinton came back, who is just an absolute dream of an actress, frankly. I think she gives 110% to anything. Like, even here, she's not in this movie much, and she's still, like, giving so much to the fact that they brought back Robert Redford, which I guess is this his last role now, because the previous movie was, so is this now his last movie? I don't know, but it was great seeing him. Also, it was nice that Tony got to have a nice conversation with his father. Really seeing that, like, Howard was a good guy, and it just like his work really consumed his life really, and that was simply it for him. Cap got to see Peggy, which was quite emotional. I did quite like that, but I thought that was really quite played well. A young Hank Pym as well, which had a nice reference to the original looking Ant-Man helmet, which I loved. I thought that was a really quite nice reference that they did there. And it was nice that Thor got to say goodbye to his mum. Thank God there wasn't any new footage of Natalie Portman. I was like, I was like, oh, I don't. I saw her at the premiere, and I was like, oh, please don't tell me they've done scenes with her. I'd rather have anyone else, please. But yeah, it was. I loved the whole time heist. My only problem with it was I just wish there was more of it. Like I really enjoyed that whole section. I thought it was. I really thought it was great. So obviously they get their said stones and all that jazz. But the kind of main bit of that, the end bit really was, and this is the big spoiler here, Black Widow dies, and I didn't see it coming. I gotta give it to them. Like I really didn't think they would kill off, mostly because they've got apparently a solo movie coming up. But it was good seeing Red Skull again. I'll be interested to see what they do with Red Skull. It really is. But obviously Black Widow dies. At first you thought it was going to be Hawkeye. I think it should have been Hawkeye because it's kind of like, I think in his mindset, and I think they should have had it where like, okay, for him to bring his family back, he has to sacrifice himself, you know, and I think that would have, I don't know, I would have maybe liked that, but obviously, because when they went back to Morag, and they realised that one of them had to sacrifice himself, and Black Widow was the one, and I did like how Scarlett Johansson says, just, the way she says, just let me go, I was like, oh man, she's acting there, you know, I liked that, and obviously then they come back, and they realise that Black Widow's deed gone, and they can't bring her back, and it's all emotional. But they've got all the stones, and Iron Man suddenly and very quickly, not because for Hot Toys or any toy manufacturer, Iron Man has now made himself a gauntlet now to put all the stones, and they realise that Hulk is, because he's gamma radiation, will be the only one to be able to use the snap and bring everyone back. And they do so in a very nicely fashion, I must say. I really liked how Hawkeye's phone was going, and you know, and it was Laurie, his wife, and all that. And I liked when Ant-Man was looking outside and he was hearing the birds, because there wasn't any birds at the time. Because that's the thing. It wasn't just human beings; it was all sense of life. So it really did look like, oh right, okay, right, it's starting to all come together. And then Thanos from 2014's Thanos travels as well through the quantum realm and bashes through the Avengers facility, and for some odd reason didn't raise any security whatsoever. I found that kind of weird. Like, he bashes through the whole building and there's not like Friday or anything, like kind of going, by the way, there's somebody just bashed through the big roof and the other side. That was kind of weird to me. I didn't really get that. But obviously, like, he appears, Thanos comes down, he is pissed, he's not happy. He now believes, you know what, I'm just going to snap everything and create a new life where they didn't know anything of you, and he feels like they're the ones that are being disrespectful, they were actually being good to them. And so obviously Cap, Iron Man, and an amazing Viking looking Thor, now with the two hammers, start fighting Thanos. And a really quite good fight scene where I really thought, there was sometimes I thought, shit, I think Thor's gonna die, or shit, I thought Cap, when Thanos is just bashing through into Cap's like shield, I thought, oh god, here we go, this is quite something that's happening here. And I liked also, like, when they're in the underground and Hulk's really struggling, and I loved Rocket where he's like, I can't breathe, I'm like, shit, this is like, you know, and Rory's like, even like trapped as well, and then more water comes in, I'm like, shit, this is quite heavy, this kind of stuff. And Ant-Man's like trying to save him and all that. Then obviously Cap, Thor, and Iron Man have their wee fight. And absolute amazing moment where my first two screenings, they were like screaming so much, is when Cap lifts up Mjolnir, and it is beautiful. There's some beautiful shots when he swings up and it hits him, and I just want to freeze a shot of Cap just in the air like that. He looked amazing. And then at the moment where you thought it was all over, and suddenly Cap hears on your left, and then it's Falcon. And I remember just seeing it, I was getting goosebumps so much that the first time I saw this, and Doctor Strange uses his spinny things, and Okoye, Black Panther, and Shuri comes out. The three of them first of all come out, and then Falcon flies out, and you're like, oh, they're coming back. And then it's like Doctor Strange, Drax, Mantis, Star-Lord, and then Spider-Man swings in. Spider-Man, when he swings in, a lot of people in the audience were screaming for him, like when he came out. And And then so many folk just come, and it's one of the best scenes. Seeing so many characters. Wasp was there as well. Giant Man that bursts out. Then you even had some great little side characters where the Ravengers came in. I didn't see it the second time or the first, but I did see it the third time that Howard the Duck is there, and I was very happy about that. Howard the Duck is in this movie. Even he's there with a giant gun that he had. And there's just so many characters, and it's so fulfilling as a fan to see them all come together. And then when finally when Chris Evans, Captain America, finally says Avengers Assemble, even though they've already assembled, but we'll leave that one. And then they're all together, and then they start charging into Thanos' army, and it's just beautiful. Like, I've never seen like the clearness of actually able to see each character fighting, because normally when it's all these big battles, it's just normally just random kind of CGI guys fighting each other, you know. A great example is Return of the King, when it was Minas Tirith and they're charging into each other. If you look at the behind the scenes, a lot of them were just computer animated like characters, and like they didn't really feel like real people at times, and it kind of feels like it when you watch back at it. But when you're actually seeing Thor slam his hammer down, and you're seeing Shuri like shooting her beams, and Black Panther jumping about, and Doctor Strange shooting everything, it's such a beautiful scene. It's so satisfying. I love it. I liked it when all the women came together as well. You know, pray God I don't, but the day I have a daughter and she looks up to the screen and I'm with her, and like, you know, that's what that kind of scene was all about, really. It's not for, you know, pathetic males really like me, really. It is for that, but I still appreciate it though. I'm still like, yeah, that is great to see. It is. And it was great to see more Valkyrie as well. More Valkyrie the best, that's what I say. And obviously Scarlet Witch gets to Thanos, and Thanos is pretty mucked when it comes to Scarlet Witch. I really liked how they really showed her powers there, and then suddenly, and let's be real, if Thanos didn't pussy out, frankly, Scarlet Witch probably would have killed him there. But because Thanos did pussy out, he was like saying just rain fire, and then it was just blowing up basically everything. But then for some odd reason the ship starts shooting upwards, and like, what's going on? I'm not gonna lie, I genuinely thought it was a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier. I really did thought it was that going to be with Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, where were they? I thought they would maybe have been somewhere, but no, they didn't appear whatsoever. But no, it's Captain Marvel that flies through, because obviously we've seen in Captain Marvel, she just flies through that ship. Nothing stopping her, man. She's just bash, bash, bash. Because obviously the main kind of goal of the final was just to keep the gauntlet away from Thanos, to which she does, and then kind of ends in a really kind of nice way of, like, really quite intense, because there was a bit where, like, he was about to snap, but like, suddenly Captain Marvel just stops him, and I was like, Jesus, that was quite close that time. But obviously it ends, and Iron Man and Thanos have a little tussle, and you're thinking, where's this going to go? Thanos is about to snap his fingers, but no. The gems went to Iron Man. He's got the gems, and you knew straight away, like, oh, he's dead. That's it. And with his last lines, which is a nice callback to the last line he said in the first Iron movie, "I am Iron Man," and I thought that was a really nice touch. And sadly, he dies. And it's done so beautifully, and I'm so glad they didn't make a joke of it, because sometimes Marvel does kind of do that, where they do and end something with a joke, and I was like, please don't make a joke here or something and all that. And good on Robert Downey Jr. really, because he does a damn good job here. And the funeral the funeral actually scene was one of my favourite scenes in the movie. The scene is like simply just seeing all supporting characters all together, and it's so well done, like how the camera goes. Don't get me wrong, some characters, like clearly Benedict Cumberbatch isn't there. I think he's clearly behind a green screen or something. But you even saw the kid from Iron Man 3 now, like, grown up and all that. Good old Thunderbolt Ross is there as well. I was happy he was there, but it was interesting. If you look at Thunderbolt Ross, he doesn't look too 100% happy. He looks a bit kind of like, well, I guess. So it was interesting, that kind of stuff. I would have maybe liked Martin Freeman being there, because he was in Civil War. Says I would have maybe liked to see Everett Ross, Martin Freeman. That was like the only one I felt quite like, I would have maybe liked him seeing there. Then there's a nice little scene just after I want to talk about of Morgan Stark and Happy that I just love. That I found her. Jon Favreau looked like he was kind of struggling as well, because like Morgan says, she would like to have cheeseburgers. That's what Tony said he wanted to have when he came out the cave, and oh man, Jon Favreau just plays that scene so well. He really did a good job there. And then after that, we have that Professor Hulk and Cap, that they need to get the stones back to precisely where they were, to which Cap does, as well as take Mjolnir back. And when he was meant to come back, nothing happens. So where's Cap? Falcon looks over, and now Cap is now old, and Cap says that he lived a happy life. He wanted to try out the happy life. Not saying, which I liked, he was like, Falcon is like, you gonna tell me what it was? And he was like, no, I'm not gonna tell you what it was. So I kinda like that stuff. And then obviously Cap gives the shield to Falcon, and I don't know how I feel about that one. It's weird, that one. At first I hated it. I was like, oh, why not give it to Bucky? You know, it's kind of obvious. But then I realised that it was obvious, and I think that's why they didn't want to do that. They were like, no, let's give it to Falcon. I think also as perception for people as well, a lot of people probably don't like Bucky simply because of the whole Winter Soldier. Falcon is a proper, just like, I think that would be deemed as like he's just 100% good man. He's not had anything bad really kind of already kind of. I know it's not really Bucky's fault, but if I think that's how they might try and play it. But I actually am kind of looking. I like Anthony Mackie. If they really push more Anthony Mackie, like, he's a good actor and I do like him. So that's the end of Tony, and berates Cap as well. Then Thor goes off with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he makes Valkyrie the Queen of Asgard, which I like, because if that means I get more Tessa Thompson, I am happy with that. Obviously, Thor goes off the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I don't know how I feel about that, if I'm honest, because the reason why the Guardians of the Galaxy work is because they're normal kind of people that generally don't have superpowers, and now you've got a god hanging with them. It's like, I don't know how I feel about that. I'll need to see. If he's not actually part of the team, and maybe like he just kind of maybe he's in it for a bit. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm not 100% about that one yet. I'll need to see with that. Then obviously, like the very last scene is seeing Cap and Peggy finally having their dance together, which I really liked. I thought that was a really nicely done scene, and that's it. That's it's God. I really talked heavily about this movie here. Yeah, I talked about that's what I thought. That's talking about the whole movie there, obviously. The everything I kind of liked within that said movie. Really nicely done credits as well, a bit like the Star Trek ones, but it was like their last movie and they did the signature and it was them appearing. I really liked how they did that. I thought that was a nice job. No after credit scenes, no talking about that, but there was a little chimes of Iron Man hitting the helmet in the very first movie, which was a nice kind of callback there, and kind of fading away, like that's him gone. And so my overall thoughts of this movie, one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. I've really enjoyed it that much. It does such a good job of the world building and just how shit it's all gone really after the snap. And this movie is all about what a superhero movie should be. It's fun, it's dramatic, it's emotional, it's exciting, it's got the action. It's got everything a superhero movie should need. It's got the sacrifice. It's got the excitement that I think a superhero drives and succeeds for, and why Marvel has succeeded. And here's to the future, because they're clearly going to keep on pumping out more movies anyway. But this was such a nice way to end the 10 years, and it was emotional when you start thinking that way. And I was in 5th year in my school, and so much has happened in my life in those 10 years, as well as obviously for those characters. It's nice. It's a really nicely done movie, and here's to Best Picture nomination. I think it deserves it, especially if you see movies like Return of the King. You know, I think it deserves it. So yes, I loved this movie. I really did. I'd love to know what you guys think. Comment down below. I'd love to know what you think about this movie. What was your favourite parts? God, I forgot another. There's so much, like the Cap v Cap and the whole that is America's ass. It's great. That stuff was good. I'd love to know what you guys think. Comment down below. More videos in the future. So until then, sail.